Hello, hello. How are y'all? Hello, everyone. I guess I'll give y'all a little bit of time to get on. It is 5:56, and the stream is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. So I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes. Hi, Chastity. How are you? Um, to get this stream started because we have some exciting things to talk about. Maybe not exciting, interesting at the very least. Um, yeah. Just waiting for everyone to join. It's been a long Friday. I got off work and I got home at about, I want to say 5:15, and the stream was scheduled for 6. Almost forgot about it, but I want it to be consistent. So there's that. So we got about 3 minutes until I start discussing my topics. I'm just gonna let everybody log on. And again, this will be saved and reposted to YouTube. And maybe next week I'll be able to figure out how to stream in both places. But for now, I'm going to have the live stream here and have it available for y'all to watch at your leisure. And then also upload it to my YouTube channel, which is Sharon82. Okay, 2 more minutes till we start. I hope everyone's having a good Friday. Um, for me, this is the end of the week of work, and then I have the weekend off to play. Um, but I hope y'all had a good time. Yeah, long day. It's interesting. Okay, if you log on and you have a question, feel free to drop it in the question box. That's actually interesting. Ugh, sorry. Again, it's been a long day. Hi. Welcome, welcome. All right, so less than a minute, and then I'm going to dive right into this live stream or the subject of this live stream. Hopefully, y'all can hear me okay. The mic is on. You see? Green little light says it's on. Got this off Amazon actually last year for fashion club content, but uh, this works just as well because I did buy it with my own money. So, okay, it is 6 o'clock on the dot. All right, welcome everyone to my live stream. I don't know what I'll call this series, but everyone is kind of the theme is my journey. Last week I discussed my journey to becoming an art educator and how I ended up in Montgomery. And that is posted on my YouTube channel, and it is still available on my Instagram in my lives. I think in the archives. So today I'm going to discuss collaborating with the EJI, also known as the Equal Justice Initiative, which is a nonprofit organization founded, I want to say, in 1989, so about 35 years ago, by Brian Stevenson, who is a lawyer and I guess advocate for social and racial justice. And I'm going to talk about how I first heard of them, how I ended up uh, working with them. When I say collaborating, me working with them to bring content and experiences and opportunities to the students at my school and taking the initiative to do that. And so, uh, yeah, so how I partnered with them to create meaningful, justice focused lessons, and how you can also build impactful um, collaborations as well. So, with that being said, uh, let's get into it. And oh, so far, I haven't had issues with it saying that the signal has gone out. So hopefully that'll keep up with this. So the backstory. Let's talk about I how I first got into working with the EJI. So the EJI, the Equal Justice Initiative. So March of 2023, I was checking my email and I saw a call for applicants for a special course. It was the Equal Justice Initiative partnering with MPS, or Montgomery Public Schools, to have a course, an American history course. And the flyer was really nondescript. But after I had, I think, heard of the EJI, when I heard of the museum, when I first moved here, actually, when I was interviewing for the job, the museum was already open and it was supposed to be open on that day. And I went to tour the museum and it was a Thursday, I remember, and it was supposed to be open and it was closed for construction. And so after that, I didn't get a chance to go back to the museum. And so I thought, hey, this is really awesome that there's this, the organization has this museum. Brian Stevenson, if you don't know, is the founder of the EJI, who is based, the movie Just Mercy is based on the book, the autobiographical book that he wrote about his experience fighting for people who are on death row. And so I was just learning more about their mission. I was really interested to, in some way, be involved in that, especially being an educator. And so the course would be held over the course of 8 weeks in the spring, and participation was first come, first serve. You didn't apply. You just literally filled out the form in the email. It didn't say how many applicants they were accepting. And then after it filled up, we got an email from the communications person at MPS saying that their list was full and there will be a wait list. So a few weeks later, it passes. I think, okay, I'm on the wait list because I don't hear anything. And then I think the first course comes around, and then I get an email the next week from Todd McFadden from the EJI, who has since moved on to other great things in education, saying that was I still interested in taking the course because I had missed the first session. And I said, missed the first session? I didn't know that I had been selected for the first session. So I immediately emailed back and said that, yes, I am interested in attending all the rest of the sessions. So he gave me all the information to catch up with the second session, and we had some homework. I had to tour the museums on my own because that's what they did. The museums at that point, there are 3 museums now for the EJI. One just opened over the summer, which is the Freedom Monument Sculpture Park, and the National Memorial to Victims of Lynching was one, and then the Legacy Museum was another. So the Legacy Museum and the National Memorial were the 2 museums that they toured in the first session. And then I had some reading to do a second session, that will be discussed. So it was on The Coming of John by W.E.B. Du Bois. And so I'm like, okay, got on the list. I was definitely showing up next time. And each session would be after school, maybe like 4 to 6 p.m. So it was 2 hours after school for 8 weeks. Pretty intensive. So I want to say every Tuesday. Yeah, it was every Tuesday, actually. I remember. So it was a lot. So that next week I showed up, and then I went to the auditorium of the facility that is across from the National Memorial. In the auditorium, and Brian Stevenson was there to talk to us about on The Coming of John, and we had a discussion about it, and that was kind of amazing and surreal. It seemed like some people were kind of apprehensive to participate in that discussion, but I was like, this is like school. I'm definitely gonna, share my thoughts because we did have homework, and not feel shy about, talking about my experiences, because I did feel a connection with the subject matter, and it was relevant to my interest in, investigating or researching my genealogy, and also talking to my grandparents about their experiences, and my grandfather telling me stories about my great grandparents. And so, yeah, I was very engaged in it. And then I got to, actually meet Mr. Stevenson at the end of that course. And so that really set the bar high for how the rest of the course would go, which I know was intentional. But it was very inspiring to hear him speak, and to speak to us as educators in Montgomery Public Schools, and take time out of his schedule to share his experiences with us. And so I go through this course, and so it's 8 weeks, maybe from March and April, and then we have a graduation at a center that's down the street from the Legacy Museum, and I get a certificate that says I completed the 8-week course, which is here, signed by Mr. Stevenson and the former superintendent, Mr. Brown. So got that. Also got a lot of amazing course materials to go along with it. So I received a signed copy of Just Mercy, a copy of The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton, who was wrongfully convicted and incarcerated for 30 years. And I also received all of the reports from the Legacy Museum of the information that we went over, and a tote bag, which I could not find. But so got all of that material in the course. Maybe if y'all have questions about that, I can go into it in more detail about what we actually covered. And I talked about it a little bit in my Instagram. I posted stories because it's a very singular and unique experience. So I don't want to spoil every single detail for everyone, but it is something that was awesome. And I was glad that I was able to take advantage of as an educator, especially after going through the pandemic. It was great. So next, sorry. And I got this t-shirt. So this is a t-shirt I got this year, but we'll get to that. But my other t-shirt I got was a black one with the white logo on it. So going back to, so taking the course. Then, so in conjunction with the course, the Equal Justice Initiative also initiated what's called the Legacy Scholars Program. And it is a program where they contribute $10,000 scholarships to 4 students from every high school in Montgomery. And the first year, just to get it going, they had counselors recommend students for the award. And one of the amazing things about the award is it's not tied to a certain school. You don't have to be going to a 4-year college. It can be trade school, a 2-year college, a community college. For example, if you're going to cosmetology school or CDL, you can use the money for that. And especially if you're not going to a 4-year university, $10,000 is a significant amount. And it's not based on how good of a grade you had. It's basically just fulfilling the requirements. But the first year, they had counselors nominate people. The second year, so that's 2023, 2024 school year, a committee was actually formed. And this is why it was relevant to my story. Since I had attended the EJI course, we ended up getting a new principal, and the name of the school changed. And we still went through a whole rebranding internally, not just externally, but internally. We had an initiative to since I did a presentation about the course that I took over the summer as we were learning about the new procedures at the school and kind of getting reacquainted with everything. And so because of that, when they came to have an actual committee to nominate people for the upcoming year scholarship, I was nominated to be on that committee. So that was really cool because I basically had knowledge of that information, and I wouldn't have gotten that if I hadn't have attended the course, and not just attended the course, but been vocal about sharing the information to my coworkers and colleagues. And so that was awesome. So after that, the next year that came around, so that I could be more involved in the committee, I took the initiative with contacting the the representatives at the Equal Justice Initiative and also discussing it with the principal of the school for me to be the point person on them having they had what's called an American history course at the school. And so let me rewind. So apart from the scholarship is one thing, but they also had an initiative to have a course for the high school students at the school, and that would kind of feed into them applying for the scholarship. And so the first year there was kind of I won't say a miscommunication, but a missed communication between different people. And so I think I was recommended to handle it, and then I didn't get the information in a timely manner. And so, but so after on the back end, I had to organize the field trip and everything because I had been involved with the Equal Justice Initiative in taking the course. So to avoid that, this year I took the initiative and contacted them and asked, okay, from the get-go, can I be the point person on this? And they said, yay. Yes, I could. And I was really excited about that because I'm generally the type of person who, I don't want to say I stay in my lane, but as an art educator, I like to focus on art. But one of the things I've leaned into more with, having to teach workshops and trying to find creative outlets and intellectual things that are more fulfilling to me is reaching out for the things that are relevant to my interests and that tickle my brain. And so with this, the first iteration, even though it was kind of haphazard, I really enjoyed it. And so I thought, how much more so would I like it if I was able to be in on it from the beginning? And so I took the point with that. I helped with coordinating with I would say, project managers and education specialists at the Equal Justice Initiative to get the information that we needed to advertise it to the students, identify students to attend the American history course, and then and the course involved the representatives from the EJI, meaning the educators, project managers, and lawyers who actually worked on these cases of people who were wrongfully or unjustly convicted or sentenced, and teaching a group of high school students about these issues. And then we go on a field trip and tour all the facilities. And then on the last day, we would have kind of a recap of everything that they learned and talk about that and, have concluding information, and then them getting a lot of goodies from the Equal Justice Initiative and the EJI taking care of everything and it being no cost to the students. And so this was something that is I was super excited about. I was super excited about having the students involved and giving them this experience, because one of the things that I realized with students at the school is them not having these experiences, and them, or rather not knowing that these experiences are available to them. And so, especially students who may be not as vocal about wanting to do things. And so me being an art educator or an art teacher, and the format of my class allows for me to kind of talk to the students on a more personal level and intimate level, and then but then also take into consideration the recommendations of other teachers to say, okay, who do you think will be good for this opportunity that we have? And we need students who are definitely going to come and going to take advantage of it. And it was great. So, I guess there's a lot more that I could tell about this story, but I really just wanted to reiterate that, tell the summary, and if you have specific questions about specific things or want me to go into more detail, I can. The thing I was really excited about was the field trip to the sites. And so one of the interesting things was over the summer, when for Juneteenth, they had free admission to the museum. And so the sculpture park actually had just opened, and in March, because it opened over spring break, and I went, and I got to go over spring break, and it was free when it opened on opening day. So I went then, and then for Juneteenth they had it open, but the riverboat ride wasn't open the first time I went. So the second time they had free passes in conjunction with the week before Juneteenth, and so I got passes to go there, which were free. You just had to RSVP. and I was able to take the riverboat ride down the Alabama River to the sculpture park, and that was amazing. And so I really wanted the students to have that experience. And one of the reasons I went to the sculpture park over the summer was I like to get a lay of the land before I take the students so I can know what to tell them to pay particular attention to, what to tell them to see or go in or experience if they have missed it. And so that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy taking them on the field trip. So, yeah, so that's the story about how I ended up working, collaborating with the EJI. And so I don't know if I'll be on the committee for the scholarship this year. I hope I will, but I think that's one of those things where, not saying I don't want to do it, but the field trip was the main thing that I was excited for. If I don't choose or recommend a person for that scholarship, that's fine. I like being able to prepare the students, I think, for that opportunity. So let me see. I have an outline here. All right. So with that, next week I actually will be talking more about field trips in particular, because the EJI was like a whole thing and a whole production. But one thing I do want to really, really stress is that in working with the Equal Justice Initiative, in working with the staff, it was such a refreshing experience. Everyone was so incredibly professional, and I learned a lot just from how they navigated and taught the courses and presented the information. Everyone who I've ever talked to, from the people giving tours to the people who are project managers to the executive director, everybody, it's like they love working there. They really believe in the mission, and everyone is very knowledgeable about what's the mission or goal of the organization is, whether it's us having an amazing experience with the tours, us being comfortable, us being accommodated when Miss Samples can't find our passes the day of the field trip. And so even, someone who's very high up in the EJI coming in on a Saturday to give me the passes after everything's, to just work everything out. And so I really, really appreciate not just them providing this opportunity, but going above and beyond to make sure that we had a really great experience and that the kids enjoyed it. And and they said that they enjoyed it. I mean, at the end of the end of the field trip, one student who had just moved here recently, transferred from another state, she came on the field trip, or rather, she came to the course, but I didn't have her name down. And so she was able to go on the field trip though. And then after she left, and I don't know if she told her parent, like what she did, her parent like turned around and came back and rolled down their window and said, thank you so much, for, I guess, giving their child that opportunity. And things like that really make it, worth it. And that's, I guess, when somebody says, what's your why? Just having, doing something like that for someone's child, having a student who, just giving someone that experience where they feel seen, they feel they're doing something that they enjoy, they can be themselves, but they can also learn about history and it be impactful to them, is something that's really amazing to witness. And that's one of the things I really love about being able to be in the classroom with teenagers. And that's interesting. I was watching a documentary, I think today, about Brian Stevenson, and it was talking about, I can't think of the word he used, but it talked about how a lot of people who are maybe in the courts or making laws or making policies or people in power are very far removed from the people who maybe the things they do have an impact on. And so that's why when I think about being in the classroom, it's like I really get to see the impact that having access to creative spaces have on students in real time. And so that keeps me wanting to be able to see what they need and to be able to provide those things. And the people that have the resources that provide those things or be willing to provide those things, I can give that information to them, because people can just donate money, but it's like, okay, what does this money need to be used for? What materials do the students actually need? What experiences do they need? What resources do they need to make them college and career ready, or make them whole human beings, or give them some kind of creative outlet so that they don't turn to a path of destruction or turn away from a path that is destructive for them, can be potentially be destructive for them, and it be something that is ultimately healing and gratifying and, just awesome for them. So that is, with that, actually, I want to say, in conjunction with that, I will have an opportunity I'm going to be presenting at a conference that's going to be in April. It's the Creative Placemaking Communities Conference that's going to be hosted for the first time in Montgomery, Alabama. And so I will talk more about that at a later date. But if you go to the website, which is, I think it's cpccommunities. Oh goodness, let me see if I can find it. Yes, cpcommunities.org is the website, and I am listed as one of the speakers because I submitted a proposal to talk about some things that are relevant to my interests and my expertise, if you can call it that. And so, yeah, I'm excited. So, again, I'm not going to be on here long, so thank you all for joining me. I'm just talking about the EJI course, or how I ended up collaborating with the EJI. And so what I want y'all to get overall from this post or this stream is that it's okay to search for things that are fulfilling to you and relevant to your interests, and like follow that thread, because that's what I've done. And I've been able to be in spaces that I never thought that I would be in, but everything doesn't happen overnight. You have to I realize very, like, I can see the concrete steps that I took to get to a certain place. And so if, when I moved to Montgomery and I heard about the EJI, I thought, maybe I can meet Brian Stevenson one day. And I have many times now. And so that wasn't the ultimate goal, but that's just, one of the things where I was intentional about doing certain things, and it's gratifying for me, but it's also in a way that I can have access to resources that can help my students. And that's, for me as an educator, the most important thing, because I'm not just trying to teach them about art. I'm trying to help them navigate the world and be creative problem solvers. And the best way to do that is having as much information as possible, correct information, and also having empathy for things that are going on in the world around you or around them and in their communities. And so with many of the initiatives that the Equal Justice Initiative has, especially with investing in the community and Montgomery Public Schools, and they're just starting to do this on a more, I would say, more obvious, I don't know the word, but it's not behind the scenes. It's more intentional. I'll say that it's more intentional. And so I'm glad and I see that, and I'm glad that I'm able to be part of that. And all you have to do is ask, and the worst they can say is no. And so far I've gotten lots of yeses. Okay. So thank you all for joining me this evening. Next time I'm supposed to be talking about field trips and how to navigate those things. If anybody else has any other things that they want me to talk about in more detail, that would be great. If you're an art educator or just an educator in general and want more ideas of how to do these kind of experiences for your students or tips and tricks and suggestions, maybe I can be of assistance or maybe I can be of help or encouragement. So I welcome your feedback or comments. Let me know if I can be of assistance in that way. But thank you all for joining me again. Don't forget to follow for updates. Please share, comment, like, follow Sharon82 or subscribe to Sharon82 on YouTube as well as here on Instagram. And I will talk to you next week. Have a good evening.